Thank you very much for this warm welcome. Actually, I have to admit that I'm very happy to be here and was invited to share with you what we are doing regarding collaborative research and development in EUREKA and in Celtic-Plus. Because most of you are very familiar with Horizon 2020 and the framework programs the EU is offering. I think not so many of you are aware of EUREKA, and I bet that even less are aware of Celtic-Plus opportunities. So this is my pleasure to introduce to you what we are doing here and guide you through our opportunities. So what are we doing? We are performing collaborative research projects in Europe and beyond. Our top cover is EUREKA, and Celtic-Plus is a cluster with, below EUREKA. We'll come into that. So if you are looking for a funded opportunity to do collaborative research in Europe and beyond, we might be the platform you are looking for. Actually, this talk, I have to wear two hats. One hat is a bit of a borrowed or a stolen hat, which is the EUREKA hat. And I might decide to stand on that side of this podium for the EUREKA part, and I will return to the other part when I wear my own hat, which is the Celtic-Plus hat, which is the ICT and Telecommunication Programme. So what is EUREKA? EUREKA is an intergovernmental network which is facilitating collaborative projects in the area of nearly everything within Europe and a bit beyond. It is very market-oriented R&D, so this is a distinguishing point between what you just heard on the FET Open or the FET and what we are doing. We are much more market-oriented and we are industry-driven. EUREKA has many different parts. We can summarize it as four. They are doing their own projects here. They are having umbrellas which are thematic, very, very clear thematic themes. One is, for example, about green farming, one is about factories, one is even about tourism. This is projects they are doing as well. Then they have the Eurostars projects. The Eurostars is very much focusing on small and medium enterprises within Europe. And we have a representative here, Jessica. If you wave your hand, Jessica is from the Eurostars project. And we have the clusters. Clusters are a bit of a special beast within EUREKA. Clusters are a bit more self-standing things, and they are forming about thematic issues. For example, we have clusters about metallurgy, we have clusters about microelectronics, we have clusters about water supply, we have clusters about energy, green energy, and we have the clusters. I'm representing the one with the little red dot, Celtic, which is the cluster about ICT and telecommunications. As I said, they are a bit different because all the other things are done directly within EUREKA, in the EUREKA Secretariat in Brussels. But those clusters, they have their own management, their own underlying structure, and they have their own offices running those projects. By the way, we have a stand outside. If you go outside to the lunch or to the coffee breaks, and you turn right after the bridge, then we have a stand where Jessica and myself are, and we have the brochures, and we can explain to you anything you want to know. So EUREKA, how large is EUREKA? EUREKA comprises about 40 original EUREKA countries. And you see the green ones, that's nearly all of Europe. But we do not only have the full members, we also have associated countries, which is Canada, South Korea, and South Africa. Those are countries which are fully participating in our projects. And we have national information points in Albania, in Bosnia-Herzegovina. They also participate. And we have international cooperation with a couple of other countries. Now, if you do not find your country on this map, you can still participate, of course. But it is important, the EUREKA rules say that we need at least 2 EUREKA countries participating, and then we can have other people joining as well, or other companies or other universities. How large are we? EUREKA is just celebrating its 30th anniversary. This is why, if you take a few of the brochures, they are a bit more glossy than in the other years. And in these 30 years, they have spent or produced projects of about 37 billion euros. Makes about a bit more than 1 billion per year. So I did some human brain calculations during the last talk, and yes, it took me a few seconds, and found out that it's about 10 times smaller than the Horizon 2020, and it is about 10 times larger than the FET. You see in the participation that it is very much industry driven. We have only about 4,500 research centers and universities who have participated so far, but we have nearly the same amount of large companies and another 2 times the amount of SMEs, small and medium enterprises. So the participation, the rate of participation of universities and research centers is about 1/3 or 40%. Now, I understood that most of you are from universities. Who actually is from industry? Can you raise a hand if you are from industry? Okay, yes, thank you, a few. Don't worry, universities and research institutes are very welcome to participate, but since it is an industry-driven program, we need at least industry participation in the projects, and then universities and research centers can participate as well. The funding authorities in the different states, they often say, we need a bit more industry. We have too many universities and research centers. But if there is industry, universities and research centers are very welcome to join. The areas we are covering is nearly everything. Electronics, of course, is one of the biggest parts. It's about 1/3. Industrial manufacturing is about 1/5. And you see, it dropped a little bit in the last years, although Industry 4.0 is one of the important issues. Biological science, also about 20%, and it increased. Of course, it increased because of the e-health and everything. The technology for protecting man and the environment dropped a bit, which is a surprise to me. And also energy technology, green energy mainly, is about 7% included. Now we're talking about the whole of EUREKA. I'm still standing on that side of the podium and not about Celtic. Because now we're talking about Celtic and I'm going to the other side. That's actually a nice side here. So Celtic is this cluster, one of these clusters under this umbrella of EUREKA, and we currently have 7 clusters. We are just one of them. And we are running roughly 25 projects in parallel, with about 10 to 15 new projects every year. The volume per project is about between 1 and 10 million euro, so that you get a bit of a rough view on where we are. And it is open, as I said, to anybody, but it is still industry driven. And we are doing the work through projects. The projects is very similar to what's happening in Horizon. You make a project proposal. We have call deadlines. The next one is 15 October. If you have a good idea, if you have a project team, submit the proposal and we will have a look at it. We also evaluate them and we will then see whether you get it. The main difference in funding is that if you get your proposal in the Horizon 2020 approved, you automatically have the funding because they have the money. We don't have the money. The money in EUREKA programs come from the different states of the participating countries. And sometimes it fits and sometimes it doesn't fit. And this is an important difference. Whilst we are developing a project idea, we have to look whether it fits into the different countries who want to participate. But the EUREKA office, which I'm representing, is helping you with this very much. And because this works quite well, we have success rates of up to 70%, which is much higher than what the Horizon is. So if you come to us, then you do not waste so much time for proposal writing, because your chance for success is much higher. Just to show you that we are rather close to the market, you see that we have about 600, nearly 600, now meanwhile it's more than 600, new or improved products done through these last 10 years of our projects. Related to that is the number of patents. So we have about 400 patents generated through our projects. And coming from the telecommunication area, standardization is a very big issue, and we have about 600 standard contributions through our projects. Now, this is one of the main benefits, that we have this industry-driven thing, and this industry-driven thing together with the participation of more industry than research, we are coming closer to the market. And this closer to the market plus the industry is basically including in our program the exploitation and the marketization, the commercialization of the products. This is why we are having so many products and services in this. As I said, the success rate is higher. And another important thing is that we are bottom-up. We think that our proposers, our industry, knows much better than we what is hot and what they need to research and what they need to do. And this is why we do not have a call text. They can propose anything as long as it fits within ICT and telecommunication, if it's Celtic-Plus. If it doesn't fit, and if it's software or if it's environment or energy, then you have to go to a different cluster. But we can offer basically for every problem we can offer a program which fits. How does a project timeline, a typical project timeline look like? Many people only look at the project active time. Now if a project is once active, it runs and we have a midterm review in the middle, which then looks at how is the project doing, is it on the right track, have things meanwhile changed, do we have to change the project team, do we have to change the goals, and so on. And this is very flexible. We are extremely flexible in changing project team, in changing goals. You just send a change request to us. We look with the national funding authorities whether this fits, and then it gets approved, and that's it. We have a final review at the end of the project, which is then mainly looking at the exploitation and the marketization and the commercialization of the products and what's coming out of the project. And this is very important because we want to drive this into the market. Now, equally important to get this project, of course, active, we have the project preparation phase. And here is from a project idea to a project proposal, through a submission to our system, and then it's evaluated and it gets the Celtic-Plus label, and it gets funding in the countries, and as soon as it has the funding of the main countries contributing, then it can start. And we had projects which could start between the proposal and the kickoff within 1 month. If you know the nations which are participating are well prepared and willing to contribute and finance it during the preparation phase, then we can start immediately. We are very flexible here, we can be very fast. We had also had projects where, for example, the project coordinator went bust. We had to find a different one. 1 or 2 nations did not have the funds, and it took 1.5 years to start the project. So we are it varies very much on the conditions. But it's really very important that whilst the preparation is happening, on the top, with the funding authorities, with the public funding authorities, it's checked whether they are willing to fund this project, because then we can start immediately. And of course, the Celtic office, which I'm representing, which is in Heidelberg, is supporting you with finding the right contacts, having the tools for doing this and everything. It's a really simple process in our case. Now, I said we have a bottom-up process. So we are not prescribing what you should do, but we are kind of collecting the hot items, which to give a bit of a stimulus, what should be done. And what you see on this list is basically what you see in any list, because the hot items are the same hot items in our area as they are in other areas. And very hot is currently, of course, smart cities. Now, smart cities is not a standalone item. This has to do with Internet of Things, with security, safety, as you heard yesterday. And we are very prepared to do this cross-disciplinary approach. And 5G, of course, not to forget, this is another very hot item. Just to remind you, the next call is on the 15th of October. So if you are thinking about, if you have a good idea, if you're thinking about submitting something, 15 October is the deadline, and you can then easily submit your proposal online on our system. It's really easy and not much formalities. We have proposers days, so-called proposers days, where we invite regularly people to present their project ideas, to do partnering, to do the discussion of new ideas. The next one will be in Antwerp on the 28th of October. Just have a look in our website and you will find everything. Now, coming to the third part of the presentation, I would like to give you a few examples of concrete work we are doing that you get a bit of an idea what are those doing. I mean, I was now saying a lot about proposing projects, about administrative things. Now you might say, do they do really work? Yes, the real work is done in projects. And as I said already, smart city is a big issue. It's an intercluster initiative, meaning all those 7 clusters I was showing you are very interested to get projects which are cross-cluster. And smart city is a very good example because it includes water, transport, energy, ICT, everything. And we are really pushing towards that. I don't have to go through the details because yesterday it was already made clear why smart city is important and that smart city have a real market potential. Another one is the HyperMed projects. HyperMed project is doing a high-performance, low-cost telemedicine platform for developed and developing countries. Now, for developing countries, it's particularly important because they don't have enough money to do highly expensive things, systems, and HyperMed developed a low-cost platform for doctors and patients, and it actually won the EUREKA Innovation Award last year, where they are very proud of, because there is one project of all those EUREKA projects wins this award, and they won it because they were so innovative and it was so good for the society. Now, I mean, I give you a short explanation by the project leader because I cannot express it as nice as he. This was Oscar Cabrera from Willings. Willings is a Spanish small company, small and medium enterprise, and they are extremely successful with the products they are selling based on the projects they were participating. And this was actually in Vienna in April at one of the Celtic-Plus events where we have exhibitions and stands for our projects. Now the next one is the 4GBB fast, and this is about using the copper cable on the last 100 or 50 to 100 meters for broadband. You know, it would be far too expensive to exchange everything to the houses directly through fiber optic. You have still a few meters at the end as copper for another 10, 20 years even. And we were trying through this project to get as much out of this as possible. And it had 1 gigabit per second on a copper pair at 100 meters. And a few weeks ago, there was a test between Paris and Lyon on real orange cables, and this was a world record on the speed on those cables. And this was a project which was particularly doing standards, so the GFAST standard came out of it, and our members and the people participating here are already developing products based on that. And again, a short statement by the project leader. And you see, Lars, this was our rudimentary approach to do interviews like you do. And the last one I want to mention is our flagship project. We also have a flagship project. Not only you, in fact, we also have a flagship project, but only one. It's not as expensive as yours. Ours has 80 million and has about 60 project partners running for about 4 years. It's now finalizing this year. And it had a real importance because it is dealing with secure and safe routing in Europe. meaning, you know, with all these NSA scandals and all these data problems and the privacy problems we had, this project became really up in the scale and became really important. And even very high-level political people in Germany visited the last exhibition. And this is important because the funding comes from those people. So we have to show to those people that we are getting something out for the countries and for Europe. And also here I would like to show you a small video. Oops. Oh, don't know what happened.
We'll make sure to assist you from the back, right? You need to control it from the back, Barry?
I guess I manage.
There we go.
Some disturbance.
Celtic-Plus project in the EUREKA program. Funded by German, French, and Finnish governments, CESAR involves
Germany, France, and Finland are, by the way, the biggest participants in Celtic-Plus.
operators, as well as component manufacturers, research institutes, and several European universities. Joint efforts go into
You see, universities are plenty there.
communication networks to produce innovative transmission technologies which enhance safety and reliability with respect to failures or traffic changes and cybercrime. In the next generation of networks, the transport node will consist of hybrid optoelectrical nodes to provide more bandwidth at lower cost, while at the same time enhance the safety. Additionally, new technologies like software-defined networking and virtualization will enable new security features. A true international cooperation. Our R&D activities are coordinated by experts from various countries and clustered into specialized sub-projects. We enhance the safety by investigating distributed network element architectures. In network transponders, software control allows us to realize flexible network. Software-defined solutions enable us to route critical data within predetermined boundaries. We call this concept network slicing.
We are working on a new architecture based on cloud technology, virtualization, and software-defined networks.
We enable secure optical transmission in those networks by adding encryption technology. And we develop novel transmission technology. Transmission technologies that allow us to flexibly trade off capacity and reach to better optimize the cost per bit transport in an ever-increasing capacity environment.
We develop novel optoelectronic devices with complex optical functionality. We utilize compound semiconductors for the active components and investigate silicon photonics as an integration platform.
Within the project, Deutsche Telekom develops and provides an open testbed for CESAR partners. It offers access to test facilities at the Telecom Innovation Arena in Berlin, installed in a real-life environment. Through tests, the partners are able to improve their prototypes and products. With this joint approach, the goal is to strengthen the position of the European industry within the global market and contribute to international standardization. Due to the innovative approach and the team of experts on board, we are convinced our results will have a major impact on the European telecommunications network and a short path from research to commercial product.
So you see, this has everything which a collaborative project needs to have. You have different partners providing different components, working on different things, bringing them together in the project. We have one partner doing the test environment, in this case Deutsche Telekom. They can all test the stuff and they bring it to the market after the project. And this has been extremely successful, and some companies are really selling already their European routers and everything. That's really great, and that is where we should go. Now with this, I hope I could give you a short introduction on what we are doing, get a bit of your feeling that yes, that might be a program where I might be interested, and if you have something in the back of your brain, if you have a good idea, you need a platform to do collaborative research, and you remember then, there was the EUREKA and there was the Celtic-Plus, then I achieved my personal goal for this one. With this, I thank you very much, and don't forget to visit us on our stand.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.